Classic League Podcast time!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 273 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott, and tonight, in Dustin's stead, we have our good friend Mike T from the Cartoon Retrocast joining. What's up, Mike?
Yo, yo.
It's been a minute, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I know. I haven't been around. No excuses.
You know, you fell in love with video games and cartoons. Are you into, like, 90s grunge rock now or something? Like, what would be the progression
I listen to 90s reggae classics.
Okay. Little UB40?
Little UB40.
Little Shaggy?
Well, not so much Shaggy. More
Okay.
like Lucky Dubé and Aswad.
Real stuff. So, yeah, man. Everybody, this is Mike. He's been on the show before, but it's been a couple years.
It's been like 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, that's nuts. It does not feel like it, but it has been. Mike's one of the co-hosts of one of my favorite podcasts when they do record, Cartoon Retrocast. Go check out
every few months, I think.
You did weekly for years, so I applaud you.
So we'll see how it goes. It really wasn't about falling out of love with cartoons as opposed to the person that completely runs the show, which is my co-host Jeremy, got a new job, and he works crazy hours all the time. Like, he's just constantly working. So
Yeah. Hobbies get cut when real life calls.
yeah,
Sucks.
I'm sure if I pushed it, he would still do it. But I'm also glad to have the break too.
I mean, you spent a year and a half of the show complaining about doing it, so we all knew the break was inevitable. So, but yeah, Mike, we're going to talk about some video games, some news, and all of that stuff. Before we jump in, we do have a bit of a bummer announcement for the show, so keep your thoughts with us. Our YouTube channel has been demonetized. We have some theories, but we're not sure totally why. But the bummer is it means I'm probably going to have to plug the YouTube affiliate links at the beginning of every show now, just to try to cover our costs for the year. We only need a couple $100 a year to keep everything going. So any help that you can give going to Amazon through our affiliate links in the descriptions, we get a small commission if you buy something while you're there, especially digital video games, which is really cool. So
is it okay if I ask, how much money did you make on YouTube? Were you like Minecraft?
Oh gosh, I mean, like
Fortnite streamer money,
like $30 or $40 a month, maybe, like enough to host a podcast, you know?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, we're very proud of that. But yeah, it was enough to cover our site and have good RSS feed and email and all that stuff. So we have a little bit of a reserve. So over the next year or so, we'll be able to figure out something. So, but in the meantime, we will still be doing the podcast every week. Our YouTube channel is still here. The only thing that's gone is the monetization. I wish the demonetization was gone, but, so we can still do live streams, video archive. We're in good standings. We have no community strikes. We, have no content ID strikes or anything like that. So, yeah, we will, the YouTube channel still keep going, and we'll figure out a way to cover costs as the year goes on. So, but, Mike, before we, I don't know, what was, since it's been 3 years, if I were to ask you, what would be your game of the year? Not over each of the last 3 years, but, what's maybe one of your favorite games you've played since you've been on the show, before we jump to news?
I think the last time I was on, I had my game of the year, which was The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And I'm playing through that right now on Xbox. So I played it on PS4, and I'm playing it on Xbox, and I'm just doing, I'm not trying to rush through the story or anything.
Sure.
So I think I have 60 hours in.
Oh, nice.
And I'm literally at a point where, when I was originally playing it, the point in the story where I was something like 15 or 20 hours in.
Okay.
So I have like 40 hours of just dicking around and exploring.
Oh, yeah.
doing random stuff, and so I'm still playing that.
I really came around on The Witcher 3. Yeah, you know how pissed off I was at how it ended for me, but I really came around on it. I have it installed. It's still my benchmark game. But unfortunately, my game drive...
I bought that game for you, right?
You did.
I didn't buy it, but I got it for you for free, basically.
Yeah, you said that you had like $5 in shipping into it.
Right, something like that.
But so I still have it. But unfortunately, at that time, even though it was in the GOG launcher, it did not have the cloud saves. And I forget exactly what happened, if I had a hard drive die or what. But my Witcher 3 save is gone. Oh man! But I do kind of want to push through again, and then get to Iron and Wine.
My god, yeah, that's Blood and Wine.
Iron and Wine's that indie band. Blood and Wine. You told me it was incredible.
That's actually the second. That's the second expansion. So there's one before it, which is Heart of Stone.
Okay.
And Heart of Stone is very short. It's like a 10-hour expansion.
Oh, okay.
I know it's short, right? But Blood and Wine as an expansion, I think it took me like 30 hours. So
that's a whole.
It's like a full game,
hell yeah.
And it's pretty good. The X-rated scenes in that are not as good as the regular game, but
well, that's okay. I didn't like the relationship. I played the good old boy. I pied off Triss as much as I could, and went for Yennefer. Yeah.
So a little bit of spoiler for this like 2.5, 3-year-old game. The ending of Blood and Wine, which is the ending of the entire Witcher series, it's impossible to get a bad ending. And so that's for you, Scott.
Oh, God,
You cannot get a bad ending. Okay. It's always going to be a good end. It's different. Like, it can be different types of endings, but It's always going to be good.
I'm not going to get the bad one after trying so hard. It'd be one thing if I was expecting a bad ending because I played a certain way. But to really try and fail was a bummer. But
yeah,
the game just stuck with me, and I'm very excited about Cyberpunk 2077. Between you forcing me to try a game like that, from CD Projekt Red to Dustin's love of Cyberpunk, I'm all in. I'm pretty excited about that game.
Yeah, they're gonna have information on it at E3 this year.
Yeah, so. The marketing's gonna go full go. So. Let's get our synth music ready.
But other than The Witcher, another game I put over 100 hours into was Monster Hunter. I don't know if you played that or.
I have not. Zarek did in chat. He's played a lot of it on his YouTube channel, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Do you want to chat about it before we jump into news? Let's get into games first.
Just a real quick, because I never really got to talk to anybody about it. I've never been able to play a Monster Hunter game before. I don't know if you've ever tried to play them.
I have. I tried Ultimate on Wii U.
Yep, the same. And it was. I think I quit after maybe like a couple hours. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I tried Monster Hunter 4 on
3DS.
The new 3DS.
Yeah.
I actually have the Monster Hunter 3DS. That's my 3DS.
Oh, nice.
My new 3DS, and I played it. And I maybe got like an hour or two into it. I couldn't. The controls were just garbage.
Okay.
And I think that's mainly what it was. Is the controls have been garbage up until this PS4 version, PS4 Xbox One version, and it almost happened. It was almost the same thing. I was playing it, and I didn't really know what was going on. And after a little while, something just clicked. I think they did a better job of making it faster to get into the action.
Okay.
So, and then I put 100 hours into it, and I'm not even, I didn't even get that far into it. I think I topped out at hunter rank 65 or something.
Not to get off Monster Hunter real quick. Are you playing on? Do you have an Xbox One X?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that explains why you went back to Witcher 3. Okay, so since you have both of those. And a TV that can utilize it.
Yep.
Do you have a preference from the graphical fidelity standpoint, or is it like pretty much the same?
They're the same to me.
Okay.
The big difference is that the PS4 is loud. It's much louder than the Xbox. I don't know if it's just my PS4 Pro because other people have said theirs are quiet, but it's not that loud. It's not. It wasn't louder than my original launch PS4.
Okay.
So I'll put it to you that way. But it's just louder. The Xbox is just silent. But the Xbox, the Xbox One X is louder than my big fat VCR Xbox, which is funny. So, but I can barely hear it. But no, they look. I mean, I don't know. They look the same. I can't tell. I'm not young like you, Scott. My eyes are going.
Oh yeah, I'm a spring chicken. I got 3 years on you.
But I have a 65-inch 4K TV, and both of them look great. And I have HDR, so I don't know. They just both look great. So
I think that's how I would look at it. Is I just would like them both. It's kind of like,
you know what's really good on the Xbox One X is Forza Horizon 3.
Oh, I bet
That game looks amazing.
It looks wonderful. I don't have HDR, but I've got a 4K TV and an S, so it does the upscaling it, and just upscaled, even though it's 30 frames a second, still looks incredible.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, that next level of the HDR and also the extra 60 frames.
So the HDR, I'm not sure what it's supposed to do, but it just makes the color range bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like the blacks are blacker, and I don't know. I don't really. I haven't turned it off, so I guess I can't tell the difference. But I mean, it looks really good, but I don't really see a difference between that and my regular PS4 and my regular Xbox One are on my 47-inch TV in my bedroom, and that looks good too. I could definitely tell the difference from Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Because I was playing that in both places a lot, but it still was fine. I mean, I couldn't really tell the difference.
I'm sure if you saw my TV, it might look a little bit like more washed out, a little bit like a white sheens over it. But after a couple of minutes, you'd get used to it and adjust. And like God of War looks amazing, and I just have a launch PS4.
Well, you have a second generation PS4.
Oh yes, the Destiny one.
Right.
So mine's not as loud, but the processing power is the same though, isn't it? The PS4 you
I
forced
don't
me to
know.
buy?
Yeah, I guess it's the same as the launch. You're right.
I really want. I'm really disappointed that Destiny didn't like blow up the way Fortnite has, because I would love to just even trade somebody a PS4 Pro for that Destiny collector's.
Yeah, well, they got to make a battle royale if they want to do it, and it seems to be the rage, right?
It does. I was really hoping for just Destiny to be. I don't know. I just thought I'd have a collector's item on my hands.
Yeah, not so much. I actually traded my Destiny PS4 into GameStop. They gave me $225 for it, which I was happy for.
Oh, that's really good.
It's kind of sad, but
I'm still happy you got me such a good deal on that PS4 that it was like, I can't say no.
Yeah, I don't even remember how much it was. It was like 300, right?
Something like right around 3. It was like I want to say I saved like $70 or something.
Yeah.
From MSRP or whatever. Yeah, so cool, man. Well, let's talk about some gaming news. The first, speaking of Xbox stuff, now I haven't watched the demo video, but I did want to mention the fact that Xbox has released an accessibility controller. Had you seen much about this yet?
No. Can you explain it to me?
So
it's like click on the article.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, I have seen this. Actually,
it's like the size of a mini keyboard, but it looks almost like an NES pad with the A and B button being gigantic and like Steam pads, and it's this highly customizable controller that lets you put all sorts of different inputs in different ways, whether you're using like a Wiimote kind of thing, a joystick, all these ways to get different inputs in. So if you have some handicap that maybe limits a lot of your mobility, but you still have some, you're able to use this controller to make inputs that'll work for you.
I sort of picture, this is going to sound really bad, but I sort of picture, do you remember the nerd video where he had a headset and he was like screaming fire into it?
Yes.
He was like, fire,
Yeah.
fire, fire.
Fuck.
I just kind of picture this thing as that, you know, like in 30 years, they'll
Sure.
be like, remember when Xbox made this weird controller? And basically everybody will say no, and the Generation Z nerd will do a video on it.
You know, the only thing that'll save it from being picked on is the fact that what it was specifically for, versus the absurdity of what was that called? The fire zone, something zone.
I don't remember. Yeah,
but I do like seeing this stuff just because there are a lot of people that would love to play games that aren't necessarily able to. It's real similar to companies and developers focusing on color blindness as well, having different color modes, which I think is really cool. It's nice that the technology is there that they can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't saying it was a toy.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Well, no, I'm responding to the comments. I'm just saying it was for, it just reminds me of that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It will look bizarre. Because there will be much more elegant ways to get around this stuff versus this pad structure that we have now. But PlayStation's not doing this.
Yeah, and they probably won't.
Did you? Speaking of the accessibility controllers, do you remember that PS4 controller and the Ocean marketing debacle? There was a guy that was going to not sell a kid that pre-ordered a accessibility controller, and he threatened to sell his order on eBay. Is that ringing a bell to you?
The Ocean, I don't know what Ocean means.
It was just the name of a marketing company.
Oh, no, I have no idea. No, I'm sorry. When was this?
2014, maybe 2015.
Oh,
it was a long time ago. It's just one of my favorite gaming stories. A dude was a total asshole to this disabled kid, and the disabled kid put it out on Reddit, and he just got interneted,
Yeah. So that reminds me of a Warcraft story. People that play Warcraft are terrible people. And there was a kid who was dying. It was like a Make-A-Wish type thing.
Okay.
And so Blizzard, he loved playing World of Warcraft, and he was 8 years old, and he was going to die in a few months. So Blizzard gave him all this stuff, right? They gave him this mount that wasn't in the game yet, and even when it did get in the game, it was extremely rare. And I think they gave him his own character or something like that, and people were pissed.
Oh, really?
They were like, "Why is this guy getting it? Oh, I wish I was dying." People are terrible.
That's the only way you can describe that. Zarek makes a good point. He said, "I wonder if these things will be used to exploit console games with macros, like you can with the PC. That will be interesting." I don't know. It's cool to see. Yeah, that's a good point. That maybe this might open up the platform in unintended ways.
Yeah, I'm looking at somebody in this article that they have their elbow on the big buttons. If they need to do it that way. If they only have one arm to play with. But yeah, and PlayStation's not doing this because. PlayStation sucks when they're winning, and Microsoft is really good when they're losing. I don't know what those terms mean necessarily, winning and losing, but
I know what you mean. In terms of overall units sold, if they're not on parity,
right?
Which they're not right now. I think your point stands.
Yeah, but the sad thing is, they're just more games that are on PlayStation 4 than there are on Xbox. So,
yeah, I really like Xbox. I can't. If gun to my head, if I had to choose, I might take my Xbox today.
Yeah,
I think it's because I like the media better. As far as the Blu-ray player and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in the minority on the features that I like. So,
and I'll also be honest, I'm always going to have both because I don't know. Well, both. I'm always gonna have all three because I have a Switch too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, my decision is which one do I get first. I won't get them both at the same time if they're out around the same time. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll always own them all. Like,
yeah, those three are also less than a gaming PC, which I also have.
Yes. Yeah. How is that holding up? You built that a couple years ago.
Oh, it's great. I don't play on it, but it's awesome.
You built it at the right time too, dude.
What's that?
You built at the right time. You built right before the cryptocurrency stuff. Yeah. So you got like a 1070 for like $300 or something.
Yes, but now aren't the graphics cards going back down?
They're starting to, but they're still slightly more expensive now than they were 2 years ago.
Okay, I saw a 1080 for like 400, so I just thought.
Okay, no, that is back to normal then. Yeah. That's
I don't know if that
below.
was used. That could have been used. Don't quote me on that. That's the normal price, but for some reason I saw that.
Well, in July, the 1180s are supposed to be coming out. It's rumored, it's not announced. I believe that's the case. So that could be affecting the market as well.
Okay. It's not completely useless. Whenever I shoot, I have a GoPro, so I take movies and stuff of my kids, and when we go on vacation. And so whenever I do that, I use that computer for that because the videos are 4K. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude, that thing will handle a 4K video. Yeah, no problem. Sweet. Well, speaking of, you said you've got Nintendo. Will you be getting their online platform? It's been so long since we recorded a podcast.
Well, like you told me earlier, like you kind of have to, right? It's $20 a year.
Yeah, it's at a price point that. Why not? Like, I'll pay you $20 to save my games.
Just for the cloud saves. So fun fact, I did not realize that the saves were not on the cartridges until like a year after the thing came out.
Oh, did you try to take a cart or give a cart to another?
I sold I got rid of something. I don't know what. Pokken, I think. Pokken Tournament, because my kid wanted to play it. And then I got rid of it, and then I got it back, and I was like, oh, it's going to lose all of our save data. And I put it back in, and it was all the same. Like, my name was in there and my data, and I was like, huh. And so I went and looked it up, and yeah, it's not on the cart.
The only reason I knew that it was on the system and not the cart was because of speculation when they announced how small the memory was going to be. It was there were a lot of articles coming out about how that system was going to operate.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure everybody knew except for me.
Well,
before it came out.
You got kids. Anyone with little kids gets a total pass on not knowing what's going on in nerdy stuff.
So, but it looks like you get 20 NES games. Is this supposed to be on the Switch? Yeah, it is on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I did remember hearing something about they're not doing a virtual console on the Switch.
Well, they're not going to do that brand. I think that what they're going to do is they'll still sell retro games, I'm assuming, just in the regular store. Kind of how you can get like Neo Geo games and arcade classics and stuff right now. And then I think that they're, it's in the news here that the NES Classic is getting restocked. And there was news last year that the Super Nintendo is going to get restocked. There's the rumors of the 64 Classic. So I don't
know if you realize this, but the Super Nintendo Classic is already. You can get that at GameStop right now. You can order it online.
Okay, so maybe that's the model that they're going for as far as the virtual console. They can sell a bunch of cheap hardware really easily with those things, and then they can give us a pseudo version of that with the online stuff.
Yeah,
they better bring a Super Spike V-Ball in this online Switch. That is cool to be able to play games together. We can get together an Urban Champion.
Right.
The best game of all time. Why have they re-released that? Why does that game get so much praise? Like Miyamoto or Iwata work on it or something?
Which game is that? Urban Champion?
Yeah, it was one of the 3DS Classic, for the the 3DS ones that actually were 3D. It looks like Hogan's Alley, but it's a really slow, shitty, like, Double Dragon Kung Fu style game.
Yeah. I've never played this game, so I could not tell you. You know what? I didn't even know this existed. This is a black box game?
It's a black box game, and it was one of the 6 games that Nintendo took the time to make 3D. It's horrible.
Well, yeah, it's horrible.
They made Gunstar Heroes 3D. Definitely get that if you haven't. And then there's also, so you get app backup, you get cloud backup. There's going to be some special offers. You do need it to play games online like Mario Kart, ARMS, Mario Tennis, all that stuff.
Right. Which I don't do anyway, so.
Mario Tennis, I think I probably will, actually.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of people complaining about this system. And I guess so people will, one thing that they'll say is that you shouldn't need to pay for save back or cloud backup or your save data.
Don't you do that for PSN and Xbox though?
That's what I thought. Am I wrong about that?
I have both those services, so I guess I wouldn't know what you don't have.
That's my problem too.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really for just playing online, right? That's what the real thing is. And that's, you cannot play online. Yeah, I know for sure you can't play PlayStation or Xbox games online without their service.
Yes.
So if people are complaining about that now, they need to go back to like 2000. When did the PS4 come out? 2012?
I think so.
2013?
12 or 13.
Go back 5 years and complain about it then, because that's...
Yeah, I guess
I remember that was a big complaint too about the Xbox 360 because that was free. You didn't need the service to play online, and then they changed it up. So.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I don't know. I think $20 seems fair for this. I guess I just don't get the blowback. The only other podcast that I listened to, I think it was Pat the NES Punk's podcast. They seemed on board with this, but everyone else is trashing it. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. It seems fine.
Yeah, I mean the price is cheaper than any. It's cheaper than the other 2 services. So and they're giving you. It's the same thing. They're giving you free games to play.
Yeah,
and it says and more games added regularly. So. It's the exact same thing, and it's significantly cheaper. Get out of here if you're upset about this.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
The one thing I think people were maybe it's a legit complaint is that the voice chat sucks.
Oh, okay, yeah. I will agree with you on that because they still want you to use their app. Which Why wouldn't you just use Discord or Skype or something if you're using an app on your phone?
Well, I don't. Does the Switch have Bluetooth? It does, right? What are the controllers?
I don't know, but the Switch Pro controller has Bluetooth, but I don't know if that necessarily means that. Would they have 2 technologies in there? I don't know. I would assume the answer is yes because I do know that the Pro controller has Bluetooth.
Yeah. Now, did you guys talk about the hack that's going on with the Switch right now? Like they've completely hacked it and it cannot be patched.
Yeah, right when it came out, because of the hardware, that it was a hardware issue with the NVIDIA chip.
Yeah, so RIP Switch, because that is a big thing.
Or they'll have to do some. They're definitely going to switch the manufacturing process because they can patch at the firmware, or not the firmware level, but the kernel level or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, true. But they sold 10 million Switches.
That's the problem. Yeah, there's like 15 million of them out there.
Right.
So, I don't know. Does piracy... I know that's a really hard thing to study. I don't know if it really... I don't know how much it'll affect Switch or not. I don't know.
I know it won't affect me because I buy the games anyway, but...
Again, I feel... Yeah, I'm in a bubble there. Like, we're subscribers to the services, so we don't know the shortcomings. And paying for stuff's just way more convenient.
And I know that... So I hacked my original Switch, and I got all these games on it, and I'm like, oh my god, I have a 1 terabyte hard drive filled with
Switch?
100 plus Switch. I'm sorry, it's the Wii. The Wii.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play all these games. Like I don't have to buy games anymore. I can just download them. And then I never played any of the games. So, it does ruin the experience for me.
Me too.
I do like hacking it. Like that part was fun.
Yes.
And then after that, I was done. So
I'm 100% with you. It's about the process of getting it working. It just feels like you're from the movie Hackers. Like, I got this working. I'm the shit. Okay, I'm done.
And I mean, the first one I ever did was I bought this thing called Supercard for the DS.
Okay.
And it was this little hardware thing, and you could plug in a little micro. No, I don't even think it was a micro. I think it was a full SD card. And it must have been a micro SD card. And
I had one of those.
I had tons of games. I put all these games on. I never played any of them. The one thing that I did was I watched porn on there. Sorry if this is a family show, but
we
this
mark
is before
explicit.
This is before the iPhone came out. So,
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. After the iPhone came out, then that kind of made that thing obsolete. But
that's funny. I was listening to Video Game Outsiders, and there's a guy that runs a game store in Fremont, Ohio, which actually is pretty close to me. And he said that someone turned in a DS, and it was full of a kid taking nudes of himself, like a 6-year-old. And then
oh my God.
The dude was like, "What the fuck do I do?" He's like, I know the mom, kinda, because it's a small community." He's
yeah,
like,
you know what I do? I delete it and pretend like I never saw it.
That's what his wife told him to do, and that's what he did.
Don't ever, yeah.
Yep.
Just get rid of it. Throw the card away, maybe. Crush it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Right.
obviously get rid of it, and then you got to resell it. It's crazy. Zarek says, "I think I remember reading that piracy has no perceptible effect on most sales. Almost everyone who pirates wasn't going to buy or had trouble buying the product." Which, yeah.
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do understand why companies don't like it, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
But, and they have to fight it because, you have to fight it in some way. But
yes.
I wouldn't agree with that for music, because when I could pirate music, it changed. Like I used to buy, I mean, you probably were at this too. Like you used to buy like $20 albums at the store.
Oh God. Yeah. We used to go during high school lunch. We had open lunch, and we'd book it to the record store on, like, if Radiohead released something or Tool released something. That's, we went that day. That's what, instead of eating, we would go drop $20 on a CD.
Right. Sometimes $25. And this is 1994 money, so this is really like $87 today money.
Right when we had my job was working at a driving range for like $4.35 an hour or something, so it was a substantial purchase.
Right. So definitely, it was when I got to college. But do you still pirate music? Zarek asks, and no, I do not, because I have Google Music, so I pay for that service, and I don't pirate any more music.
And, that's because they made price and convenience a thing. I pirated a lot of music. I still have a lot of the music I pirated back in the day. I felt like I put all that effort into collecting it.
Right.
That I have it backed up and backblaze and, I have like 70, 80 gigs of just terrible low bit rate MP3s with the wrong IDE tags and all that.
But do you listen to it and you remember like being a teenager?
Yes. Some of my MP3s still skip because the CD I ripped it from had well, now wait a second. That's not pirating music. No. That's not. But the messed up IDE tags and all that, it's a whole mix of. Now some of the CDs I would rip were pirated. But I did rip all my CDs, and then Napster. I still don't know. I know Fish didn't do Gin and Juice, but I have no idea who actually did the Gin and Juice cover.
Oh yeah, there was
It was labeled Fish. Everyone was like, "Oh, Fish did the hillbilly bluegrass gin and juice." It's like, no, that's not Fish. That's just that was the Napster file that caught.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember specifically anything like that for me, but I know I had mislabeled music that I was like, that was it. That's how I knew that those bands as their songs, and it wasn't.
I'm actually super anal about labeling the metadata in our episodes.
Right.
Just in case somebody's still using like raw MP3s sorted in their old phone or desktop or something like that.
Right. Like if they have a Diamond Rio player,
yeah, you never know.
They're going to get the wrong thing scrolling across.
Yes. It's funny. I guess I didn't realize till now that that's what that's a holdover of. It's just how unorganized that stuff would be.
But when so actually I remember pirating music before Napster came out. It was just downloading it off a website called
mp3.com.
No, it was like at least, maybe that existed, but I think it was called scour.net.
Oh, yes.
And I remember I was a freshman in college, and it was like 1 or 2 weeks in, and my buddy Bobby Lee brought me into his dorm room. He was like a few dorm rooms away from me, and he was like, "Name any song, and I'll download it right now." And it completely blew my mind.
Our college had its own pirate network that worked just amongst the network between the dorms on campus, and it was the fastest downloading I'd ever seen in my life to that point. Movies in minutes, like it was incredible.
Oh, nice.
What
Park episodes.
Yeah, what a Wild West we were in. My buddy and I, they would let you take beer to into the movie theater, and we had to the next day we had to pirate Old School because we didn't remember how it ended. Like we drank too much before we went.
Wait a second. How old are you? Wait a minute. Old School. When did that come out?
My sophomore year of college, which would have been like 2002, 2003.
Holy cow, that movie is that old?
Yeah, dude.
I'm honestly thinking Old School was like 2014.
It's like 15 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's why we do a stupid podcast about old stuff, so we can reminisce about.
Except for when we first started doing podcasts, that was new. That was brand new.
I know. Yeah, Old School would have. Oh my God. Yeah, when you were doing the Gen Y cast and Jeremy was doing Cartoon Retrocast, Old School would have still been in the Best Buy new releases.
Right.
Because they didn't rotate those very often. Or Blockbuster, because that was still a thing. It would have been in the Blockbuster new releases section still.
Blockbuster seems like a distant dream at this point.
That really does, but Old School does not.
No, exactly.
It's bizarre how that kind of stuff happens. So yeah, so Nintendo service, we like it. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's fine. It's what they made it the right price. If it, let me tell you, if it was like $50 a year, I'd probably still pay for it. So
I would, but I would complain. Now, I would understand the complaint if people want it to be more robust, because it doesn't have streaming apps and all that kind of stuff. But I think that the price point is fair because of those shortcomings. But if you're mad that you can't spend more to get more, I can understand that argument. It doesn't affect me, so it doesn't ring with me. But I can get it a little bit.
Right. The one thing that I noticed here was that it says family account.
Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. It's like almost $40, like 35.
So, right. So my question is, like, let's say I have 2 Switches in the house. I have 2 PlayStations and I have 2 Xboxes. I don't have 2 Switches, but if I had 2 Switches, is one account tied to one Switch? Now, obviously, you can move the Switch around, right? But
yeah,
is one account tied to
I'm gonna now, like, you and I could be on the same family plan. You can, as long as you have a Nintendo ID and you join through the website the same group, like, you don't have to be an actual relative. That makes me think that you would then have to use 2 of those 8 slots for both Switches.
Right. Which I guess is fine because it is 8 slots. And I think for clunky. PlayStation, What's that? Sorry.
That just feels clunky. It's okay, but it feels kind of clunky.
Yeah. So for PlayStation and for Xbox, people do share digital games because you can set your console as a home console
Yeah.
and log into your account, or you can set your console as a home console. I'm sorry. You can log into your account on any. I'm just going to take Xbox for example, and somebody else can set their console as your home console, but they log into their Xbox, and you both have access to the same digital games. You can buy a digital game and both play at the same time and both play online
That's
and
awesome.
have all. But it's just two. So for Nintendo, it's 8, which I guess is a lot better. Can you imagine if the Xbox was 8 people, you'd have people easily sharing the cost of it.
Oh
right?
yeah, it'd just be like Reddit groups and like Discords of groups getting together to pay a couple bucks.
Right. I mean, you could buy a $60 digital game, and if you split it up amongst 8 people, that's less than $10 for the brand new game.
Yeah,
so.
part of me makes me wonder if that's why they're so all in on the that $10 games pass, because that does bring that price point to about that, where they're just kind of cutting out the hassle for everybody. And like, look, if you're willing to do that
right.
here.
That's only Xbox though. That's not PlayStation.
That's true. Every service is a little different. And Steam has that like friend share, but you're not allowed to play at the same time and online together, which Xbox has as a big benefit over that.
Right. In fact, you know what? I inadvertently came to like why this service is going to suck. Because your games are not tied to your Nintendo ID. They're tied to the console.
Yeah. Well,
And
we'll
right?
see how it matures once it's actually out, but I think you might be right, and that would be bad.
So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But other than that, it seems fine. I'm not going to get rid of my Switch, and I want cloud saves. $20 a year seems fine.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Right there with you. Next up, unfortunately, Cliffy B had to shut down Boss Key Studios. They did Lawbreakers that didn't do well, and then they recently had that Battle Royale, Radical Heights, I think.
Right. Now, this is the guy who made God of War, right?
Gears.
Gears of War. God of War.
Don't
Gears
worry,
of
man.
War.
I do that shit all the time. I knew what you meant.
Yeah, that's I never played Lawbreakers, but I know, some people liked it, and I know it was like really poorly received. I guess there was something about like there were like 12 people playing it worldwide.
That was the thing. It's like no one said that it was bad. It's just nobody was interested in it.
Everybody likes Overwatch.
Yeah. But I mean, their numbers were so low, it was pretty staggering. Double and triple digits only.
Right. Now, was it free? It wasn't free, right? You had to pay for it. Lawbreakers, I'm talking about.
I think so. But maybe at some point they did try to flip over to a free model.
Yeah.
But the thing, and I've talked about it on the show before, is he gets a lot of shit. Cliffy B, he was kind of like, I don't know, a celebrity out of the gaming industry, and he gets a lot of ire from that. But when we first started the podcast, he retweeted us, and his wife was on our show. So
what?
I'm a bit biased, so I'm bummed to see this. Yeah, Lauren, she came on. She was our marquee guest of our 50th episode.
That was, I think, before I started listening. So
yeah, probably I would think so. Yeah, that would have been in 2010, 2011.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was really nice. It was before they were married, but they were together. That's how Tony was a fan of Cliffy B, and
it just kind of shows, right? Like, you can be. I mean, he's famous and everything, as far as famous as you can be for being a video game developer.
Yeah,
and it's a fickle business, man.
Hell yeah, it is.
He probably had a lot of. I don't know what he's doing now, but he probably lost a lot of money, put a lot of his own money into this, and
probably,
so.
But he did. He had a nice, like, mature, heartfelt send off that he put on Twitter. That will have linked. We won't read through it, but he's thankful for the experience and all that, which I believe. I don't know. It didn't come across as a hollow statement to me.
Yeah. So Zarek is talking about the built-in storage of the Switch. I hope he knows that you can expand the storage in the Switch.
He
I have
does.
a 200 gigabyte card in there.
Yeah, he does. But
He's upset about the built-in storage.
Yeah, it's the built-in
card.
Because it is like an extra cost or whatnot. The games are generally smaller though. I bought like a 64 gig and I haven't had an issue.
Well, do you get physical games or digital games?
I do have a lot of digital games, but
Okay.
Zelda, Mario Kart, those I have physical copies of.
Yeah, Mario Kart's the only digital game I have because my kid plays it so much. But
I love that game.
other than that, I just have carts.
So, yeah. Well, hopefully Cliffy B will emerge as a in a new game studio or something, or just I don't know, keep being cool on Twitter.
Save some of his money. I don't know.
I think he did extremely well, so
Right.
he probably could afford to take the hit. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully he's not like broke from it or anything. ColecoVision Evolved had a Kickstarter up, and Mike, you remember the old like early '80s Coleco, Pac-Man, and Donkey Kong?
I do.
Those were sweet. These are not.
Shots fired.
No, this is not a a divisive statement. It's Rainbow Bright and Robotech, which
I like the look of it.
Yeah, until you watch what the gameplay is like, and it looks like a DS screen and a shitty like phone game DS graphics quality.
Now, to be fair, that's just what ColecoVision looked like, though.
I think that it looks better than ColecoVision, like in a really unnatural way. The originals, I know they probably couldn't do quite like the originals, but those had almost like a clock radio graphic style as far as the lines and stuff. Not vector graphics, but similar to that. Where this looks like
the Robotech one looks. I don't know if this is good or bad, but it looks like unnaturally good. I don't know if you watched the Robotech one.
I have, and it does. It
doesn't look like something that's originally looked like that. But hey, maybe, I don't know.
No, dude, it is absolute. Hugh over at the Retro League said it the best. He was like, they clearly just like had the rights to Robotech and went online and downloaded some Russian ROM and just threw it on the cart because that's okay. But it does not feel like a Coleco game, you know? It's jarring. So
yeah. Didn't know it existed and not getting it, so.
No, absolutely not get it. Rainbow Bright, I remember it. And Robotech, I remember it. Robotech seemed fine. It's on Netflix, the remastered.
You mean the cartoon?
Yeah. That's why I think this is based on.
Yeah, no, it's based on this. But we did an episode on it.
I'm sure I heard it, but I don't.
I think Hugh Johnson was on the said episode.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. But yeah, it's tough to watch. It is tough to watch. Like now as an adult. I tried to watch it, I couldn't.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll tell you what I can watch. This is going to be sidetracked, but my son got really into Yu-Gi-Oh! The cartoon Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
And I forgot. So I never played card games when I originally watched it in like 2001. But just to me, it just made sense, right? Like, it's just they're playing cards and they're doing all this stuff. But like as I'm older now, and I've been playing Pokemon card game with my son because he wanted to learn, so I learned how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, it's funny as you go through and like they start doing these like championships where they're doing like the world champions, and they get so shocked because there's a card that they've never seen before, and I'm like, how is that possible? These world champion Pokemon players, like they know every single card, what every single card does, and all these strategies and everything, and I don't know. I don't want to get too sidetracked on card games, but
Tony did the same thing. Tony got into Pokemon. His son got into it. He's like, dude, this is fun.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty fun.
I believe I never got it. My brother loved Magic. I never got into it, but I know I would have loved it because I've been playing Hearthstone for a long time. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah,
It's just expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. It is expensive because even now that we're buying stuff, like we're not on any level that we can actually build our own decks because we just don't have the cards.
Yeah.
And I've probably dropped at least $300 in cards already, and that's supposedly nothing.
Yeah. I know Tony just was like, buddy, you're going to have to fend for yourself. Here's kind of like a starter kit and, good luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Coleco thing looks stupid. It raised enough money on Kickstarter, so it's coming out.
That's okay. Did you ever see that Oregon Trail game that was kind of like this? It wasn't a tabletop, but it was a handheld.
Yeah, maybe on Reddit or something. It sounds vaguely familiar.
It came out. It was at Target.
Okay.
I wanted to get one, and my Target had some, and I just never got there in time. But it's sort of the same thing. It's like it's not a tabletop; it's a handheld, but it's that old graphic style, and they had the rights to it, and they threw some ROM up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not offended by this. It's just kind of funny to look at. I will give you credit though, man. It does. The cabinets themselves look great. If they were a cartoon that I liked, I wouldn't care about the game. I would just get it. I'd spend $50, get a display unit.
So you didn't like Rainbow Bright, is what you're telling me?
Not enough. Not enough.
Not enough. If it was My Little Pony, that's a different story.
For sure. Or Strawberry Shortcake. That's probably or Gem. Gem was probably the girliest cartoon that I watched a lot of.
Oh, Gem was great though.
Gem was good. At the babysitters, we watched a lot of Strawberry Shortcake.
So I think our third episode was Strawberry Shortcake, and so if you want to go to cartoonretrocast.com and look through our old episodes and check out, I think it was episode 2 or 3. It's a horrible cartoon. It's awful.
I really don't remember My Little Pony, the cartoon, that much. The toys I remember a lot. The girls at my babysitters and my cousins had them.
Yeah.
My cousin had a huge, it was insane, this like Rubbermaid bin just full of ponies. It was wild.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did a My Little Pony episode, and I'm pretty sure we did a Gem episode, and we did a what was the other girly cartoon you said? Strawberry Shortcake.
Strawberry Shortcake. Rainbow Bright. Did you do that?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if we did Rainbow Bright.
That doesn't ring a bell, but you guys have done 100 plus cartoons.
Well, maybe we should do it.
Hey, there's always one in the chamber. There's been a tremendous amount of cartoons.
Yeah.
We had already mentioned this, but the NES Classic is returning in June. I'd always said if I ever saw one at the store, I would pick it up and put it in the cart. We'll see if that's the case. I bet it is. I bet it's easy to get this time.
Now, you do have one, right?
No, I don't.
You don't have one?
Mm-mm.
Were you not there when I was yelling at people to get one?
I was. I refused to participate in that.
When they first announced it, I think I went on to Diamond Elite, which is our Cartoon Retrocast private Facebook page, and I was telling everybody, get it. These are going to be hard to get. Everybody should get it. And I'm sure you were there, Scott.
Oh, I absolutely was. Yes, you were on the spot. I could have gotten one because of how on point you were.
Yeah. And then I think it took, think of how crazy this is now, right? It took about 24 hours for it to sell out. And then it was impossible to get.
Yeah.
To this day, it was impossible. Like, you couldn't just order it online and, it would stay in, it wouldn't ever be online for any more than like 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to get at the stores. Like, you had to line up and they would give out tickets and stuff. And the only person I feel bad for is, so my co-host Jeremy, he ordered one. As soon as I said order one, he ordered one from Target and they canceled his.
That sucks.
They said his payment couldn't go through, which is, I don't know. I think it's BS because the credit card was fine.
But. Yeah. And like, of all people, like, he deserved one.
Right. He got one because I got him one. But still, it was it's a stressful time.
Yeah,
but
that shouldn't have happened to him, though.
Huh?
Like if it cancels on someone like me, like my level of interest is fine. But I don't know. It was like that's such a Jeremy like product, you know.
Right.
So
And so when these come back out, they're gonna just completely unload them, right? I mean, they're gonna unload on stores. Like they're not gonna be hard to find.
No.
I don't think.
I hope
You know,
not.
if maybe they'll sell out like immediately as soon as you can get one, but I can probably guarantee within like a month you're going to be able to just get these at GameStop online. You may not be able to see it in a store, but you'll be able to order it online.
Nintendo says that you should see them in stores. Like they're planning to have enough.
Yeah.
Like you could go to Target
they'll be
today.
in stores, but you know, maybe they'll sell out, you know.
Sure, yeah.
But I do, you know, if I go to my closest Target, which is not that close, there are Super Nintendo classics in the case that nobody's buying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, if I come across a Super Nintendo classic in a case, I'd pick one up. Like, but it has to be super convenient. Like that's my principle with it, because I do have all these games, whether it's a modded Wii or the carts or whatever. So it's got to be super convenient and authentic. I'm not hustling for them. Fuck them for that. And then this is the last thing. I was listening to the Retro League today while I was mowing the yard, and their latest episode 486, I think it was.
Jeez.
I know, right? Those guys are fucking workhorses, man. Dustin, I'm hoping this comes to fruition someday, because that's one of his favorite video games is Zelda II.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that did Wonder Boy, the Monsters whatever remake for Switch and PS4 and Xbox and all that, I think it's on those platforms. Anyways, he said that his dream would be to do his version or a redo of Zelda 2. And with how well people received Wonder Boy as far as the attention to detail of making it properly, man, fingers crossed, it would be really cool if he could get his hands on a Zelda 2. That's a game that could really...
Oh, so he doesn't want to make like a tribute to Zelda 2. He wants to actually make a Zelda 2. He wants to actually make a Zelda game.
Yes, he wants to do a straight ground up remake of Zelda 2, licensed from Nintendo officially. Yeah. While that'll probably never happen, I just love that he's willing to even like throw that out there.
So, what's the point of making a remake of Zelda 2? I guess is my question.
From his perspective, just like I think he wants to tackle that big of a project. From my perspective, taking some of the rough edges off of like Death Mountain and stuff like that, to make it maybe a little bit more accessible. I know I can like grind through and stuff, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I would buy a copy. So for me, I never completed the game. I got pretty far into it in high school with my brother, but...
Oh, man. Go play it right now.
We didn't finish it. I don't know if my battery still works, but I do have the cart.
Well, go play it.
Just
play it on
my Wii
or something.
Play it with
Save States.
Yeah.
It's
good. I remember really liking it.
Yeah. The thing I would say is that, like... I should probably read this article, but something like a Zelda 2 would be really cool. Just having a remake of Zelda 2, I don't know, because Wonder Boy was like 8-bit graphics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 16-bit graphics. I don't know.
No, I'm with you there. Did you play A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS?
Yes.
That game was unbelievable.
Oh, so you're saying something like in that sort of sense?
Yeah, but I mean that feels like A Link to the Past too.
Well, it's more of a remake of A Link to the Past, kind of, right? I mean,
yeah, but it reads so. I'm just saying, I agree with you heading in a direction where it doesn't have to be a 1-to-1 copy, or it could be a total sequel if you wanted as well. Zelda 2 would be. That's a great name for a video game, isn't it?
That would actually be Nintendo would obviously never do this because
No, 'cause it's a
their
great
Zelda
idea.
franchise so much. But if it was Zelda 2 with the Roman numeral 2, and then a 2.
Yes, it would be freaking awesome. Yeah. Dustin, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. They did a Link Between Worlds. Who knows? Maybe the right person at Nintendo will have heard that interview.
Yeah, my understanding was A Link Between Worlds was supposed to be just a straight. It was supposed to be a straight, like what's the word? Remake, I guess.
Like a reimagine or
No, like a remake. It was supposed to be a straight remake.
Oh, really?
And then they were like, well, maybe we want to make it a little different because I think, obviously you could then go to different dungeons however you wanted to and stuff, as opposed to in the other one it was more like you had to go to this dungeon first, then get some weapon or item that allowed you to get into the next dungeon. And I'm thinking of the right thing, right? In A Link Between Worlds, you just bought the weapons, so you could go
Correct.
wherever you want.
Yes.
So
maybe that's why I thought it felt like a sequel, and I never completed A Link to the Past.
Oh man, go play that right.
I know. I got I got the Moon Pearl and stuff. Like I got to the point where I wasn't the bunny in the Dark World.
Okay.
So I made some significant progress, but I don't know why I just didn't finish it. I played it as an adult. I need to go back and play it. I didn't have a Super Nintendo as a kid, so. Zarek also mentions the Zelda II randomizer. I think Mike Matei's been playing that. I like these Zelda randomizers. That's cool.
So what's that? I don't know what that is.
So it's like it's a ROM hack, but it's the same game, same layout, same dungeons and all that kind of stuff, but the items are randomized. And so you might get the Master Sword at the first chest you open, but you also may never get something.
A candle.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, but they've made it so that if you need like keys, like they don't screw you over that way kind of stuff.
Okay. So in Zelda 2, I can't remember if it's in a cave or it's just in the first dungeon, but you have to go to the first dungeon to get, I don't know if they call it a candle, but something that basically lights up a cave. And after that, you have to go through this cave, and in theory, you can get through the whole cave with it being completely black, but obviously it's kind of impossible if you don't exactly know where to jump and how to jump, which you could memorize.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is sort of like, well, how are you going to get past that cave?
And that's actually hearing Hugh talk about it on the podcast. There's ways like if you use the same thought process that you do in a maze algorithm, like to teach a robot to get through a maze, you can set certain parameters that would prevent a complete fail state. So if it would be totally impossible, they might not make that candle random. Or they might ensure that you would get it before that point.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is it's not impossible, right? Like you could do it. But
yeah, and I know with the Link to the Past one, there's like easy and hard. So maybe in the hard one, you could run into that and you just got to suck it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's my basic understanding of the way the randomizers work. Yeah, Zarek says it's randomized in a way that doesn't break the game. Right. So, okay, before we get into our YouTube channel of the week, Mike, 2 weeks ago, my brother was in town, and we were recovering from having beverages the night before.
Oh, I'll bet.
And we watched The Wizard.
Oh, boy. Great movie.
Okay, so my brother notices something, and we have a theory that these three movies I'm about to mention take place in the same universe. And it's Batteries Not Included, Over the Top, and The Wizard. And those are the orders of sequence as well. And here's
Over the Top.
The Sylvester Stallone trucker movie. Okay. And Batteries Not Included. Right. Batteries Not Included is the movie with the old people that have an apartment.
Yeah,
okay.
I definitely know Batteries Not Included.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're watching The Wizard, and when Jenny Lewis gets a hold of her friend Spanky, the truck driver. At one point, you get to see Spanky's truck, and the door opens up, and it is the over-the-top truck. It even says Hawks Hauling on it or whatever. It's the exact same truck from Over the Top. So then my brother notices that, and I'm like, oh my God, no way. And we just start like bullshitting, and then we're like, wait a minute. What if... Because Spanky is the actor and one of the actors in Batteries Not Included. We're like, at the end of Batteries Not Included, when that building gets burnt down, what if Spanky gets blamed for it or something? And so what he has to do is then make his way however he can, and ends up getting into arm wrestling and the trucking circuit. And
he's got to change his name.
Got to change his name.
Right.
Yeah, like you could totally make this work. He ends up Sylvester Stallone. It all works out for him. So I forget if he gets rid of the truck in the movie, or we could say that he had to sell it to Spanky or something like that, or he lost it to Spanky in an arm wrestling match or something. And then Spanky then ends up meeting Jenny Lewis's dad somehow in the arm wrestling ring out in Reno, Nevada, and he ends up in The Wizard. So between that actor and the over-the-top truck, we think that these all exist in the same world. And the movie's release in like 86, 87, 89 or something. So it would work. What do you think? Does that pass the test?
I'm for it. I wonder if, so do you think that actually was the exact same truck?
Yes, I do. I think it was a prop because I just think Wizard was low budget.
So they just grabbed the truck.
Yeah.
That's
I was blown away that he noticed that. I was like, dude, that's incredible. He's like, yeah, I think that's the over-the-top truck. I'm like, so, God bless the internet. The fact we were able to look that up immediately.
So, well, it's like one of those things where the technology that made KITT eventually turned into the technology that made the Cylons.
Oh.
Right.
Because of the laser, the like red eye looking things?
Yeah. And the reason why is because they took the Cylons' red eyes car to make KITT. So it was the other way around in reality, but in reality, it was Knight Industries actually inadvertently brought about the fall of the human race.
I love like dumb stuff like that. So yeah. All right, Mike. I'm glad that you approve of my brother's theory that I do as well. So let's get to our YouTube channel of the week. Let's see. The neatest thing that I saw gaming wise was there's this girl Kelsey Lewin, and she did a review of a Super Nintendo exercise bike that was fully released, and it's an awesome video. She's I'd say she's like the gaming historian as far as like the presentation of the videos and stuff. She's pretty popular. She's in a lot of Metal Jesus Rocks videos. She really knows her stuff, and her production quality is really good.
So she only has 12 videos.
Yeah, but she's cute and knows her stuff.
She has 70,000 subscribers.
Well, okay, so she's buddies with Metal Jesus Rocks, who has a bajillion subscribers.
Yeah.
She's cute, and she's really good. So, I mean, that's a combination that would explain that number. But
so, good for her, though.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I highly recommend her Super Nintendo exercise bike video. It's really good. I didn't know it existed. It's a lot also like Lazy Game Reviews. That guy does a lot of obscure like PC stuff, but just really obscure things. So I don't know. I just found it really fascinating.
It looks like she put in a lot of work into editing her into editing this video.
Oh yeah, that's why style wise I compared her to like the gaming historian because he does that. Yeah, we do one take 2-hour conversations here.
We don't have time to edit.
Time to edit
video. That's for nerds.
That is nerds with monetization on their YouTube channel. So, but yeah, Kelsey Lewin, Lewin. Definitely go check out her Super Nintendo exercise bike video. It was very well done. And her other stuff is good too. There's only 12, so you can catch up. No problem. So, all right, man. Let's talk about some stuff that we have.
Real quick, one of her games is called How to Own and Operate a Successful Video Game Store. Does she own and operate a successful video game store?
I don't know.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess people can watch and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I guess I will be there as well. We'll follow up next week. So yeah, Mike, did you see Deadpool 2?
Watched it today.
And?
People keep asking me, oh, was it as good as Deadpool 1? I guess people like Deadpool 1. And I honestly don't know if there was a difference. I feel like it was the same movie, sort of, which is good, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of comedy and a lot of parody. And I mean, I thought it was great.
Cool.
So there you go.
I mean, I thought the first one was as funny as people told me it was going to be. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, and it's sort of funny too. Like I watched Thor Ragnarok,
mm-hmm.
and I was sort of off-put by the amount of humor in it. Like it seemed like just everybody was comic relief.
Yeah.
In Deadpool, I guess Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, there's a lot of comic relief, and it doesn't bother me as much. So
I couldn't finish Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because of the comic relief.
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
Thor,
I finished it.
Thor, I got better. Thor, I don't know if I got used to it or if it was. I really like that director. Have you seen the Vampires in the Shadows? Like, Where the Vampires in the Shadows? It's got the guy from Flight of the Conchords in it. It's a really funny, like, mockumentary about vampires. And it's the same director, and I like that director. So maybe that's why I gave Thor a little bit more of a pass.
Don't get me wrong. I was fine with the movie. I was fine with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I watched them, so.
I couldn't finish 2. I've tried twice. I need to try to push through.
But it just sort of, I don't know. Marvel movies, they always have that sort of sarcastic tone to them. But
yeah.
I never thought Thor had a sarcastic tone to him until it just seemed weird that his personality completely changed, But whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just whatever.
They're making $1 billion per movie. It's fine. They'll be fine.
Yep.
But Deadpool 2 was really good, and they sort of hinted at like, they're gonna be in the Marvel universe now.
Oh, okay.
Which, well, you knew that, right?
Yes.
Because Disney bought Fox. So.
Well, that hasn't went through yet. Comcast is trying to get in there now.
Oh, see, I thought
that's not officially a done deal yet.
Well, they did mention it in the movie, so.
At the time when this movie would have been cut and stuff, that was looking 100%.
Right.
But it's not at the moment.
Well, that sucks. I don't know. That's fine. I guess it's fine. Although a good Fantastic Four movie would be great.
Yes.
Just want a good Fantastic Four movie.
So again, and if Disney gets it, let Pixar do it. Like, let them really do The Incredibles.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to spoil Deadpool 2, but it was good. Go watch it. It's funny. It's like Deadpool 1. If you like Deadpool 1, you're gonna like Deadpool 2, obviously.
Cool.
Let's see. And then, so I sort of mentioned this. I just wanted to talk about Pokemon cards because, like, kind of getting obsessed with them. But
get any foils? Is that what they're called?
So they're called hollows.
Is that that's the hologram?
Oh, secret rares. There's secret rares. There's hyper rares.
Okay.
It's gotten to the point now where my son loves. There's 2 YouTube channels. One is basically a guy that all he does is open card packs.
Okay.
And he's really excited about it. He's got 300,000 subscribers, and his channel's growing and everything. But all he does is open card packs. Like I don't even know if he knows how to play the card game. He doesn't talk about the video game, the 3DS games. I don't know. It's like all he does is open cards, and he loves them, and he's very knowledgeable about all the cards, but that's all he does. He doesn't actually play. And then another guy whose channel is basically him playing the online game, and every episode he puts out like 4 or 5 videos a week, and every video is him doing a different deck configuration.
Okay.
So he goes through the deck strategies, and then he will play like 3 games, and he'll usually show like 2 wins and a loss, right? Like two of the wins and a loss, and it's really addicting. Like, and I don't know, like I never played these card games before, but the strategies, they're pretty fun, and
there's a reason they're so popular, you know?
Yeah. And it is funny because basically most decent players, like to be a good player, which I'm not, is you not only know your deck inside and out and can, have your strategies for your deck, but you also basically know every single deck you're competing against, all the cards. And so I'll see this guy and he'll be like, oh, he like they'll just, the opponent will play 1 card and he'll be like, oh, he has this kind of deck.
Yeah.
So I got to get ready for this move. And, I'm like, wow, really? Because I wouldn't know any of that.
There's I cheat with Hearthstone and I just look up decks because there are guys that are that way. Now, I generally, there are a couple decks I can recognize in a similar fashion, but those are very few and far between. And it's usually because I was playing it.
Right. So is Hearthstone the same thing? Like, do you build your own deck?
Yep.
And, or they're like, but
you buy packs of cards. They come in packs of 5. They have different rarity. They all have different effects. Yeah, it's a very. I mean, they're very similar as long as you also consider Magic the Gathering very similar as well.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I played like 5 games of Hearthstone and I got smoked each time, and it was with whatever their starter deck is. Okay. So that was it.
Yeah, they got me hooked.
Well, if you probably won a few games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, maybe I'm better now because I've been playing Pokemon.
Oh, you absolutely would be. Yeah.
But not knowing anything about card games and getting into it, it was like, I don't know what to do. So.
Yeah. I totally get why people love these style of games. I feel bad for judging the kids at lunch in high school playing Magic.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have played with them.
And it's sort of funny too, because like my son desperately wants to play. Like he'll play with me, right? And he loves it, and he'll beat me. I mean, we don't build our own decks. We buy these things, theme decks, which are kind of set up for you. It's imagine a Hearthstone starter type deck.
Yeah, I think that's what Tony got with his son. Was those kind of pre-built things.
So we'll play, and we have 8 different theme decks, and so we'll just choose which one we want, and we'll play against each other. And so sometimes he'll beat me because, sometimes like I'll just not be able to pull anything I need, and he'll just destroy me.
Yeah. How old is he?
And so yeah.
Is he like 5 or 6?
He's 5.
Okay.
So he desperately wants to play with another kid, and although plenty of kids around here collect the card game and have lots of cards, none of them know how to play.
Oh, well, are they all also 5?
5 to 11. He's in elementary school, so
between
kindergarten and 6th grade. But he did find out like one of his friends does know how to play because his dad played Magic the Gathering a lot.
Okay.
So his dad was willing to play with him and teach him how to play. It's the same thing with me, except I never played Magic. But and that was like yesterday. He found that out while we were playing soccer. So
it all begins.
So he's gonna go hang out with his kid this weekend.
The
kid's a good kid, so I'm all right with it.
Cool. I mean, some of my favorite memories are just games of any sort with my friends when I was like that age to like, up till high school and stuff.
Right.
Even though we still played games in high school and whatnot, but okay, yeah, move on.
So Cobra Kai, I want to give you an opportunity. On the Cartoon Retrocast, we did a whole show about Cobra Kai. So
Go listen to it. CartoonRetrocast.com.
yeah. Did you want to do spoilers?
No,
Did you want to not?
I don't want to do spoilers. I do want to do spoilers. Maybe at the very end, maybe we could. Okay, no. I just emphatically watch Cobra Kai. I loved it.
Renewed for season 2.
I saw that.
Yep.
I guess just like we'll tiptoe around spoilers a little bit, but the thing that I couldn't believe they nailed was it was cheesy at the right times, at an appropriate level. The references were done in a really good way. The serious parts were totally believable. The characters, none of them were one-dimensional, other than a couple of extras and whatnot, or like really.
Yeah, I mean, some of the high school kids were definitely one-dimensional.
Yeah,
but they were supposed to be, I think, right? I mean,
but like
they weren't supposed to have any depth.
And they didn't shy away from the internet theory of Daniel was the real bully. And that
was a big.
That was a real big part of it, but it wasn't just Johnny misunderstanding it. Daniel at times really was, and sometimes he was a good guy.
Yeah. So I did, after watching that, I did go back and of all things watch Karate Kid Part 3. Just because it's the one that I watched the least when I was a kid. I think I just watched it one time, didn't like it, and never watched it again.
I did not like it when I was a kid.
It is, you realize that it is probably the best Karate Kid movie.
Really?
I don't know. The first movie is very straightforward, you know.
Yeah.
Boy, new kid comes in, hits on a girl, girl's ex-boyfriend bullies him, and whatever. And of course there's that whole internet theory where Daniel's the actual bully, so they go through that, but and then they have a tournament at the end and he wins. But I just thought the fighting was better in Part 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. That I can get on board with.
So if you watched the All Valley Under 18 Karate Championships from 1984, I don't know, maybe it was 1983, but whatever, the first one, like the fighting is terrible.
Yeah.
Then you watch Part 2, which is in Okinawa, and the fighting is not great either. But then you watch Part 3, and it's like they got their kung fu on. They figured something out of how to actually script these fights. So
that's
it was
interesting.
A bit better.
I guess it was never I was so young, all karate was fine.
Oh yeah. No doubt, right? Like when you were a kid, like even the crane kick was like this most amazing thing. You look at it now, magical. It's so stupid.
Yeah, so I will spoil one joke. And it was since you brought up Karate Kid 3, at one point in this series, Johnny Lawrence is trying to get Cobra Kai back into the All Valley tournament.
Right.
And Cobra Kai, he found out, has a lifetime ban from the All Valley tournament. And when Johnny Lawrence goes to the karate meeting, the council, so that they could so he could appeal his case to let them into the tournament, they say that they were banned because of Terry Sterling, Mike Barnes, and then
Terry Silver.
Silver.
Terry Silver, Mike Barnes, and John Kreese. And he's like, I don't even know who Terry Silver and Mike Barnes are. I loved that joke. That was so perfectly done to acknowledge the third film. Right.
But also that one joke swept it away. Like, we don't even need to talk about that. And maybe Mike Barnes will come back in season 2. I mean, who knows? But
I'm not going to spoil it.
But anyways, I thought that joke was absolutely incredible. I don't even know who those guys are.
Right.
I was like, God, that's freaking amazing.
So just in case anybody doesn't know, this is a spoiler from Karate Kid Part 3, is John Kreese was the Cobra Kai sensei. That's from Part 1. And they think he's dead. And so Terry Silver, who is his buddy from Vietnam, starts up the Cobra Kai dojo again. And there's this like freaky moment in the Karate Kid Part 3 movie where there's a life-size cutout of John Kreese, and Daniel's trying to leave the studio, and like John Kreese pops out from the back and scares him, and scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, and then that fight scene was intense. Okay, no, I'm totally on board with you. Like that fight scene around the mirrors and stuff in the dojo during that scene was awesome compared to the first two. Right.
Although, no matter what, okay, and here's the other thing too, is I watched Karate Kid Part 4. Okay.
This
is how into Karate Kid.
The next Karate Kid, I think that one was called.
The next Karate Kid. Now I didn't watch the whole movie. I kind of skipped forward.
Okay.
Because I had never seen it before, so I wanted to watch it. It took me like 20 minutes to watch the whole movie, but I was kind of skipping forward, and I realized then that no matter what, you can't make Mr. Miyagi look like he's actually a badass.
No.
Because, I mean, he's this old Japanese guy. So in the movie, The Next Karate Kid, he basically fights a bunch of... somebody wants OUYA news. Okay. He basically fights a bunch of, like, people in a gas station. And he's just moving so slowly, but he's kicking the shit out of them. So...
It's like the grandpa in Three Ninjas.
Yeah, anyway, so if you have not seen The Next Karate Kid, you should go check it out.
All I remember is when she had to rake that like Zen garden thing that there was like a rock in it she would stand on and do like her version of the crane kick. That's all I remember from the movie.
That was her move. And I guess I didn't quite understand what was happening, so I got to the end, the final fight scene, and there were all these military guys that like, I don't know, wanted to rape her or something.
Okay, but they must have really been fans of her earlier work at Boys Don't Cry.
Oh my gosh. No, it must have been later. Wait, when was Boys Don't Cry?
I don't know. I just, this was Swank and Rape. I had to bring up the movie.
So this was 94. I think Boys Don't Cry was right after that.
Okay.
But maybe not. I'm not sure. Anyway. And I was just like, why are these people wanting to, I don't know. She goes to some school, like some military school, and I don't know. Anyway, people should watch it. I should probably watch the whole thing. It's not going to happen. But, and I forget what I was going with. Oh, so the Terry Barnes, Mike Silver thing. They're basically Vietnam buddies, and then they do this in Karate Kid 3. Nobody remembers that. But in the comments of whatever I was watching, it was like the fight scene, that fight scene that I was talking about with Miyagi and the dojos in the mirror. Somebody wrote the comments. They should make like a Cobra Kai style like flashback movie of John Kreese and Terry Silver in Vietnam together, tag teaming whores and mowing down what are they called, Charlie?
Go like all deer hunter on them.
Right? Yeah, like because they're insane, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
They're not.
They're unhinged,
and that would be the whole. How they basically, I don't want to ruin Cobra Kai, but spoiler alert, it's about now, them living now, and they get much more in depth into Johnny Lawrence's character.
Yeah.
So he's no longer just a one-dimensional villain. That would be the John Kreese multi-dimensional character.
Yeah, dude, I would be all on board with that.
Why is he insane?
Yes.
Right? Why does he like to beat up kids?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm on board.
There you go. That's my Cobra Kai thing,
So our good buddy Brian Trusty, he's been a listener since episode 1. So shout out to Brian. He says the OUYA has a new storefront coming, and it's mostly good for indie devs and fans. He says only John Hancock and Classic Elite know this in the YouTube world thus far. Ooh, the immortal John Hancock. It's speaking of like Metal Jesus Rocks fans or friends and stuff. I'm sure he knows that Chelsea Lewin personally. Thanks, Brian. How'd you find out? You got a source? We need a citation, please. Unless you're a YouTube dev. Oh, he says, I like all the Karate Kid movies, including the 4th, and can't wait to check out the series.
What about the 5th?
I have not watched that, even though I can't. I like Jackie Chan. I don't like Will Smith's kid, but how is it? Did you watch it?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that movie. So
I heard it was bad, but I don't know. like I hear people complain about 3 and 4 of Karate Kid, and you guys are saying you like both those well enough. So,
well, yeah, and that's the weird things too. I hated 3. I never watched 4, but I hated 3 when I was a kid. I watched it in the movie.
Me too. I think it might have just scared me too much. Like I didn't like the scene where Daniel was like having to break the boards, and it was like people's bones and legs or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that was just too intense for me.
You can't see, you can't fight. You can't breathe, you can't fight. And also there was that whole thing where they tore the bonsai tree in half. It was like the most expensive bonsai tree ever.
Yeah.
And they tore it in half, and he's like, Miyagi's like, tree grow back. You plant the root. I don't remember how it goes.
No, that's close.
Oh, he's
wow.
in it.
Wow. He's in there. Hey, Brian, thanks, man. You're making the assets. That's going to make Hugh Johnson happy. He's an OUYA guy. I love Towerfall. Did you ever play Towerfall? That was like the it game of that. Brian, thanks for the heads up, man. That's awesome. I did not know that.
Is he breaking his NDA by telling us, like, is he going to be sued or what?
I doubt it. Why would he even tell us if he... why would he go to a chat that he knew would be broadcast publicly to 8 people?
Hopefully, that's not his real name, right? So they don't know.
Oh, yeah, because there's probably a huge team of UI developers.
That's true.
So, that's fucking awesome. Like, that's really cool to hear. It's kind of a first scoop for us. So, yeah, fire up your OUYAs. Hit an update in a couple of months or a couple of weeks. He says I get trolled for it all the time. That's funny. Yeah, thanks for the heads up, man. That's awesome. Listener for all these years. And then what's Volcano, man?
The volcano is blowing up. Have you heard about this?
Oh yeah, like where you're from.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, as somebody who has never been there before, what do you think is happening?
Oh, he says it's a fan takeover, by the way, which is cool. Okay, so sorry, Mike. So as someone that's never been to Hawaii?
Well, just as somebody who's just watching it on the news, right? Whether your local news or national news, like, is everybody dying there? Like,
in Ohio, they make it sound like toxic gas is just spewing everywhere into everybody's face, and it's napalm everywhere. Kind of, they make it sound like it's like the end of the world right there. Is that not the case?
That's not the case. I only say this because I'm seeing a lot on Facebook, and people have been messaging me too. So I'm gonna go to the Big Island in 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's my 20th high school reunion.
Oh.
And it's it's on the opposite side of the island. And so people are like, "Are you still going?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still going." Like, it's literally not affecting anywhere that anybody ever goes, except for Volcano National Park, which is a cool place. We were planning on going there, and we're not anymore. But I think it's crazy that the new, I don't blame them, because it is dangerous, right? Like, and there are people's houses that are in the way, and they're getting down. And there is toxic gas. Like, if you're within, like, I don't know, 50 yards, maybe not even that. If you're within like 10 yards of where toxic is coming out of the ground, you can get pretty sick if you're elderly or a child.
Okay.
And so it's fine. Everybody's fine there. I want to tell all who's here, 8 people.
We got
8 people.
We got all sorts of scoops, man. Razor devs are on board with OUYA, and so we got a native Hawaiian confirming.
I'm not a native Hawaiian. Hawaiians are people. Yeah, so Hawaiians are actually people that are ethnic Hawaiian.
Oh, okay.
So I'm local. That's what we call ourselves, locals.
Gotcha.
So I was born in Hawaii, but yeah, it's fine. And so we're going there with my brother-in-law, and he was calling trip. He's like, I'm gonna cancel. We're not going. I'm like, he was like, well, I was like, there's not gonna be any lava there. The last time, at least where we are, the last time there was lava was 150,000 years ago. Okay, it's the last time there was ever a lava flow where we are.
Okay.
The volcano is considered extinct. So he's like, well, what about the toxic gas? I'm like, you live in LA. In the LA air is more toxic than the gas where we're going to be.
Oh, so yeah, it's like, hey, if you go run in the morning along the road, like that's going to be more hazardous than.
Oh, your dad is native Hawaiian, Eric? That's, aren't you from like North Carolina or something?
He's from Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of random then.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, last week Zarek was on the show, and I didn't get a chance to compliment it. He had like the most smooth like intro. I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I'm good. I'm good. How are you? I was like, man, that's fucking cool. Wish I had a smooth voice.
So he wasn't speaking like Hawaiian then.
No.
It's like, oh, bro.
Have Zarek, you been to Hawaii? I hope so. I'd love to go. I never have. When you're from the Midwest, that's like the Bahamas and Hawaii are like big time destination.
So check. Hey, maybe there's people in your area that are not going to go now because they think that the volcano is exploding the island, and just be like, hey, man, I'll just buy that. I'll buy all your stuff for half price. You know, so you don't lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll just take over your plane tickets. That's fine.
Zarek, that's what you and I will go together. He's not been there. That'll be our. We've never met in person. We'll go to Hawaii and eat pigs out of sand and look at beautiful girls and drink alcohol.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that all these people are freaking out, canceling their reservations or canceling their hotels. I wonder if you can get cheap stuff. I mean, we bought all our stuff a long time ago anyway.
You know what? Probably. My parents went to Cuba recently, and there was a whole thing there, and people were like, "You guys are still going?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, we're still going." It's Cuba.
Well, I don't know.
What
was the thing? Like
I forget exactly.
Was getting overthrown because that would be the thing.
No. It was post that, but it was it was one of those things where they made it sound like it was a war zone, but it really wasn't. Kind of like the way that they make Hawaii sound like a war zone right now.
Yeah.
Zarek says my grandmother on my dad's side used to cook me all sorts of Hawaiian foods. And I have a Hawaiian nickname.
Yeah, when we go, I'm gonna be just destroying the Hawaiian foods. I just haven't had any of that food for so long that it's gonna be. I'm probably gonna gain some like 10 pounds, 15 pounds.
I'm sure I would love it.
But I have been running, so I've been losing weight. So it's just time to go get it all back.
Well, better than like making it worse, right?
So we'll see how it goes. I've been running with my. We run like probably about 9 to 10 miles a week, which is not a lot, but it's something. It's more than zero.
A lot more than zero. Hell yeah.
And so we live at 7,000 feet. So when we go to sea level, it's going to be interesting to see how much easier it is to run.
Oh God, you're that high up out there?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's wild.
So, and we're good. Like I can run 3 miles, no problem without.
I mean, that's higher than
killing myself.
I think of my cousins that they live like 45 minutes away from Denver, and I think that they are lower elevation than you are.
Yeah, Denver is only it's the mile high city, right? So it's 5,000.
Yeah, and I think that they might be 1,000 above that. I think they live in Bailey,
6,
Colorado.
So
yeah,
6,000 feet is pretty high, though.
It is.
That's nothing to sneeze at. But
that's
Santa Fe is 7,000 feet too, and that's the that's the highest capital. Yeah, it's the highest state capital.
I feel so like ignorant every time like I hear about other states. Anything like west of the Mississippi, I don't know anything about.
Yeah, when my family comes to visit me or my wife's family, they all sea level, and you basically get altitude sickness, which is your blood's not getting enough oxygen, so you need a lot more water and you sleep a lot more.
Okay.
And so when we first moved here, I remember like for 2 weeks I was sleeping something like probably like 14 hours a day.
Damn.
So
I need to move there just to fucking get some sleep. I'm a bad
just to
sleeper.
get some sleep. Yeah, and you gotta drink a lot of water.
That's fine. I can do that. Mike, I'm booking a flight. Well, cool. Yeah, I guess
you go. Give me all your stuff. What's all this stuff?
God of War's amazing. That's all I'll continue to say. I'm not done yet. I am inching closer. How
long is that game? Do you know?
25 to 30 hours, I think.
25 to 30? It's not bad. Maybe I should play it.
I think you would really enjoy it. Knowing you and some of the games you've enjoyed, I think you would really get a kick out of it. Plus, granted, your son is younger than the boy in the game, but I think the father and son might tug on your heartstrings a little bit. May ramp up the story for you. Now, I haven't finished it, so I'm speculating on that, but I'm invested in the relationship of the characters. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, so.
Okay.
It's got good leveling mechanics. It just feels good to play. They handle the transitions of gameplay into cutscenes really well. There's frequent saving. You can change the difficulty on the fly if you want. There's exploration if you want. Yeah, it's just a really cool, just really great single-player game. I finished Shovel Knight's expansion, Specter of Torment. It is awesome. There was one level at the very end that I hated. There was a mechanic with kind of a jumping mechanic that I did not like, and they leaned really heavily on it at the last stage of the game. Probably just to ramp up the difficulty, but it became a bit frustrating. Otherwise, it's an A game, like a must play. If you own the original, this was free DLC, but I was in the mood for playing something on my Switch, so I paid $8 when it was on sale, and it was worth the $8.
Okay.
You don't.
So you played it on your Switch.
I bought it to play it on my Switch.
Okay. But did you play with the Pro Controller?
No, I played it in handheld mode. I loved it.
It doesn't seem like a game. Maybe it's just me. Like handheld mode's not comfortable. So.
I would agree with that. I got smaller hands, so I think I get away with it a little bit. But
I have smaller hands too. But
it doesn't. I couldn't play the Switch as long. Like Zelda, I would play in the TV or the docked mode to have more of the controller feel. But I still haven't bought the Pro Controller. So I don't play as long as sessions as I would with PlayStation or Xbox or PC.
Right.
I agree that it's not as comfortable as it could. I think it's impressively comfortable considering the shape it's starting with. But
yes,
that's still a compromised grip.
And I thought I would play it a lot like in bed and stuff, and I just don't. So the only time I actually undock it is if we're on a plane or something, and typically I'm on a plane with my kids anyway, so we're setting it up on the little tray.
Okay.
And we're popping out the Joy-Cons and we're playing Mario Kart, so.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't bother me that much, and the PlayStation style D-pad that it has doesn't bug me either. I ended up using the joystick most of the time anyways, so.
Yeah.
But it's fun. You don't need the original game. You can get it standalone, and I thought it was well worth it. My old roommate was hanging out with me last week, and we got done golfing. We were going to his friend was having a party, and we were killing time. And he's like, "Dude, I'm kind of in the mood to play a video game." And of course, my eyes light up. And he's about 5 years younger than me, so for him, like the 64 is what came out when he was really young. Right. But maybe 64 is what he's really attached to, whereas I'm NES. Maybe he's more He's 5 years. But anyways, he'd never heard of Super Spike V-Ball, and he got hooked. That's one of the best games for the for the regular Nintendo. It's one of the best sports games of all time. It's just really fun and good. It's simple to understand, difficult to master kind of game. We got to the American Championships and could not beat the America Cup, but the World Cup is really where it's at. That's the brutal stuff. But,
who are the last team? Is it the Russians?
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes the Navy, then the Russians.
I remember playing that game when I was a kid, and I haven't played it since then. My cousin had it, and so we played that game, and I just remember like the colors were so bright, and the teams were so like I don't know what the right word is, but it felt like larger than life.
Yeah, the sprites were kind of like Double Dragon style. And
the sprites are like River City Ransom style, aren't they? Wait a minute.
They're kind of like a hybrid of them. If you were to take River City Ransom and stretch them out to be a little taller, which I think looks like
Double
Dragon.
Dragon. Wait a second.
Are you thinking of a different game?
I am not thinking of the right game.
Well, you're thinking of Dodgeball, probably.
Super Dodgeball.
Yeah, Dodgeball is also awesome. Now that is straight River City Ransom sprites.
Okay. Okay, I have actually never played this game before.
Well, everything up till the River City Ransom was correct. It is very vibrant and colorful. The characters have different, shapes and different characteristics as far as the way they play. Some are really good at defending the kabooms, which is a super spike, and some are really good at serving difficult serves to you and stuff.
You know what? My friend Patrick Luman Hin had this game and we played this game, but not as much as I played Super Dodgeball.
Super Dodgeball is more popular. That definitely gets more praise.
Yeah. But yes, no, I do remember like everything's coming back. The beach and the water behind, like the ocean, the way it looked.
Like if you're in the USA, they've got monster trucks. If you're in Japan, it's all like cyberpunk and it's cool. Brian says my nephew says things like, "Remember the Xbox?" He's like, that thing is old. Like, God, my freshman roommate in college had the Xbox and brought it, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, that is old, though. I mean,
it is. It's 16 years old.
15, 16 years old. PlayStation 2 came out in like 2000, 2001 or something.
Yeah,
so
it is, but man, it's a kick in the teeth. Brian says, what would be the best God of War to start with for a noob? This is my first God of War game. They're all relatively easy and fun, I believe.
Wait a minute. So this is your first. This is the only God of War.
I've played a little bit of the 2 Vita games, the like Ghost of Sparta and another one.
Oh, okay.
But I've not played. The closest I've played to a God of War game is Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which I loved.
So there's God of War Remastered.
There's like 5 of them, I think. There's like the 3 main, and then there's Ascension.
Right. So I would say if you're gonna start with a game, the God of War so there's God of War 3 Remastered, but there's I thought there was a God of War 1 and 2 for PlayStation 4. Is that right? Or is that?
I don't know.
To PS4.
I'll let you fact check.
Here.
I don't know.
No, there's a God of War Ultimate God of War pack for PS3.
Okay.
And then their God of War 3. The first God of War I ever played was There's a Pokemon called Gardevoir. So
and you got Gears of War,
yeah, God of War 3 was the first God of War I ever played, and that one was good. You don't need to know anything, it's not like you need to know it. And since they have the remaster of God of War 3 for PlayStation 4, that would probably be the one that I would start with, because it's you don't want to play a PS3 game. Like, you gotta get your PS3 out. Screw that.
Yeah. That's based on my limited knowledge, I would say 3 or 4 would be the ones to start based on what other people have said.
for some reason, I thought there was a God of War 1 and 2 for PS4. So if there is, you should do that, but I don't think that exists.
I don't
I think
know.
that's PS3 games, so...
or God of War 1 and 2 being together in a package does sound familiar, but for PS4 it doesn't. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We can't know everything, right?
But if you have a PlayStation 3, it's sitting there, and it's easy to get to and easy to play. Get the HD. It's called God of War HD. I don't know what it's called, but it's there. It's called the God of War Collection. It's got God of War and God of War 2, and it's in HD. So because the PlayStation 3 was in HD.
Yeah. So you don't have the 4:3 ratio and stuff.
Right.
Cool.
So do that, but if not, I would say God of War 3 for PS4, and then I would say just the newest. Is it actually God of War 4? Is that what it's called?
No, it's just called God of War. So it'll be God of War 2018 from here on out.
So I would just go to that. I never played Ascension, but I get the feeling that
they're so different that it feels like just pick 3 or 4. And if you like one, you'll probably also like the other, but not to rehash it just because you feel like a badass in a different way.
Right. 3 was the first one I ever played, and it was really good. There's it's I don't know what it's called, but so like Star Wars Force Unleashed is the same kind of game where you're just pressing buttons and you're just destroying like hordes of people. God of War 2 and 3 are one story, but
weird.
Are you saying that? What do you mean by they're one story? They're the same story, or like it's a continuation? Because I didn't feel like it was like I needed to know anything about the previous game when I played 3.
I'm guessing in a pure sense, it's like part 1 and part 2, like God of War 1. Because I believe God of War 1 had a pretty clean ending, and it did better than they thought. I could be wrong on that, and I haven't played them, so I'm, going from a memory that could be false.
I don't know about 1, but I know 2 and 3 have sex scenes in them, so that's good.
He says 2 ends on a literal cliffhanger. That's funny. So you can picture it. That makes it. I did watch some cutscenes. So, oh hey Ken, I didn't see you here, man. Night, dude. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, and then non-gaming related, but I did something really cool. I've been over the last year or so fixing up my old Stratocaster I got in 8th grade, and I've done a really good job so far, and it's great. And I did one last modification that I won't get too nerdy with, but Mike, you ever do something and you're just so proud of yourself?
Never.
Well, trust me, it's amazing. But essentially, a Stratocaster has 3 pickups, like 3 sets of coils, like under the strings. You'd know it if you saw it. And the modification lets the first and the third one work together. And a Stratocaster, normally you can have any one of them play individually, or you can combine 2 that are next to each other. But since there's 3 of them, you couldn't get 1 and 3 together. But there's a different Fender called a Telecaster, and that has a particular tone because it only has 2 pickups, but they're in the same spot as the 1 and 3 on the Stratocaster. So this mod kind of lets me cheat and get tone like a Telecaster, like really twangy, cool sound. It's just really fun, and I've gotten really good at soldering. So nice. I might revisit my Super Nintendo mod that I might be able to repair it.
I didn't even know. What was your Super Nintendo mod?
I was trying to do the RGB mod on the Super Nintendo Mini. Okay. And I kind of botched some of the soldering. I was using the wrong tip. I'm just much better now. So I have a more steady hand, a better likelihood of success if I can do it. So
yeah, like soldering is just, I don't solder a lot either, but like the more you do it, you get much better at it just by getting practice.
Yep.
And you also get terrible at it by getting out of practice. So
yeah, Dude, yeah. I started getting okay when I was, because, you know, luckily with guitars, it's really big solder points. There's a lot of things you need grounded, so you don't have to be real precise with stuff. And I don't know, it's a good learning tool, or a good way to learn soldering. To jump into trying to do stuff on a Super Nintendo board was really a poor choice. I had a little hubris going on there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was really fun. I was just proud of myself. And the thing that I really liked about it as well is the Stratocaster normally has a volume knob and then two knobs that can change the tone. And I didn't like the way that it was wired, and I would always confuse myself on which tone knob I need to use, and I just didn't like it. But on a lot of other guitars, there's only one tone knob, and this modification turns one of my tone knobs into controlling the tone on all the pickups, no matter what, which is super simple. And then the third one is what allows me to combine those pickups without having to add any switches or anything. So it's just putting a capacitor in a different spot and soldering a couple of wires to some different spots. It takes 30 minutes total, and that includes watching a 30-minute video on how to do it.
And just going along with the video.
Yeah. But man, it sounds so cool. I've been having a lot of fun with that. So that's what I've been up to since the last podcast. So we have a little bit of feedback that I'm going to rip through here real quick, Mike, and then we will call it a show. I just got to get the old comments up. I totally forgot to have you bring the comments up before the show started. But I do want to give a shout out. Ben Martin, our photographer buddy from New York, left us a 5-star review on iTunes. So thank you very much, Ben. I really appreciate that. If anybody else would like to do that as well, that'd be great. Anywhere you download our podcast, if you can give us a rating if you like the show, that would be awesome.
Nothing less than 4 stars. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna give 3 stars, just don't do it.
Yeah, that'll hurt us. We've done good, so we don't have very many, but we have a perfect record so far. 5 stars, so clearly just friends, which is fine with me. And also, Zealot Gaming left a comment on last week's podcast, someone I'd never heard of before. But he said, came here from your Plants vs. Zombies videos, and you deserve more subs and attention. So thank you, Zealot Gaming. I appreciate that. Domez says, Simon, that is rad. Did Dustin trick his wife, or did she know that he's a Belmont? Yeah, so Castlevania is one of Dustin's favorite game series, and his son's name is Simon.
So what's the answer? Did he trick his wife?
No. She knew about it. It was like her sister brought up the name Simon, and he tried to have a poker face about it. Like, okay, stay calm. Like, don't get too excited because Kim was receptive to the name. So it's cool. Baby seems to be doing great. I bought him like a little baby onesie that has the Simon's Quest Simon and nice. the quote on it that says like it's a horrible night for a curse or whatever. Dustin got a big kick out of it.
Wait a second. What is that quote? Hold on. Simon's Quest quote. Gotta say it exactly now.
You do. You're right. Precision's important.
Here we go. What a horrible night to have a curse.
Yeah. I hope his wife understands that I'm not calling the child a curse on them. That it's just a video game reference.
But, kids it is a curse, right? And at night, it's especially horrible for little babies. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with any of that anymore.
You know what? There you go.
Unless my daughter has a kid when she's like 15 or something, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I hope that doesn't happen, man. Dumez also says, off topic, but so awesome, I wanted to share. Also, because Zarek is here, He says, I just got Skyrim VR on my Oculus VR, and holy shit, I never played it before either, so this is my first experience in VR. He says, it's insanely awesome. I cannot express how amazing it is. He says, being there in the world. He says, and all the text floats in boxes right there in space in front of me. Wow. Which is...
Now, do you have any sort of VR? Anything?
I did. I had the PlayStation VR, but I sold it to get guitar stuff.
Yeah. It's like, that's the same one I have, the PlayStation VR. And I put it on and it was amazing. And I'm playing whatever game I was playing, the one with the gun. I don't know what that's called. Farpoint.
Okay, I didn't play that one.
So it has a gun. Like I have a gun.
Oh, okay.
With a little light ball and things. So, and it looks so cool if you're moving around the gun, and you're in the world. And I played it for about 30 minutes. And then I packed up my VR, I put it in a box, and I haven't touched it since.
No.
So,
yeah, I bought a lot of software for it, but I got a good deal on eBay, and it allowed me to get a guitar that I really wanted. So
it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, it's really cool, but I don't know if I ever want to play it again. It's just such a hassle.
It is a hassle, but you're right, it is cool. I've gotten way more use out of a new guitar than I have out of that. It was awesome to have, though, for the year that I did, because one of the best parts of having a VR headset is getting to show it to other people.
Right.
So I got more enjoyment out of watching my dad put on the Batman suit and flex in the mirror. That was just funny to watch. Zarek also says, but I must apologize to Zarek. He says I cannot do Khajiit because I don't want to deal with the poison, so I chose a wood elf. Zarek's awesome cat, and Khajiit's the cat, I think.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Also, he says, first off, the Atari box will never exist, but if it does, and for $300, it won't even be able to play Dolphin for shit. It's too weak. Probably. He also says, I got more to add about the streaming stuff that Canada cannot get. Dude, Mike, Canada's so screwed over with Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that stuff. They don't have YouTube Red. Yeah.
Are they? I have no idea.
Yeah. They have a GIMP Netflix. They've got GIMP Netflix. They've got GIMP Amazon Prime, and they have no YouTube Red. It's weird because they're just... I live so close to Canada. It's really weird for me to know that an hour and a half north, I wouldn't have YouTube Red. It's weird.
But you can get YouTube Red, right? I mean, there are ways.
Well, yeah, I think he might be getting into that. He says, I actually got a VPN, so I tried Amazon Prime Video connecting to a USA IP, and the stupid thing tells me it cannot connect to a VPN proxy. That sucks.
Oh.
He says, I cannot watch Classic Game Room 2084 Angry Video Game Nerd through my VPN. Yeah, so some YouTubers that are leaving YouTube are putting their stuff on Amazon as well. They're doing early access there, and he's not able to get to it. He says, also the WWE network doesn't work. That's a good thing for you. He says, but we have no option for the app at all. He says, I actually asked Mark from Classic Game Room about getting the show in Canada, and he said it's out of his control. He said, a note for Scott, though, when it comes to TV shows, you can still recommend anything to me. I have clever ways of finding any shows that I want. After all, I have a VPN, but something like the Video Game Years on Amazon or Classic Game Room 2085, these might not be big enough shows to appear in the clever places that I find shows. So that's a bummer. Yeah, Canada's got to eventually get it.
Well, do they? I mean, what's the reason why they don't have YouTube?
I'm assuming it's just some weird bureaucratic thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I have no idea. Or maybe Netflix and Amazon don't think that they would get the viewership to make it worth. I don't know. But like I said, from my perspective, Ontario's 2 states away, it feels like. There's Ohio, Michigan, Ontario.
Yeah. But I mean, for something like YouTube Red, you're just signing up for it, right? So I don't know if it's one of those things where maybe there's import taxes on a subscription. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. That's what I mean about some weird bureaucratic thing, or like.
but then on the other hand, like there's definitely other countries that have YouTube Red.
Yes.
Because I remember when I signed up, it said something like, well, if you live in these countries, information. But
No, I agree, and that's why it's that much weirder to me that Canada is excluded.
you know, just make them pay more. You know what I mean? Like it's YouTube Red
Poor
subscription, just
Canadians,
15
like
bucks
that's
there or something. I don't know.
that's always the answer in Canada right now. Like their prices are such bullshit on stuff.
Yeah,
And Australians have that too.
Australia is the one that comes to mind where for video games mostly where their stuff is bullshit.
And music instruments, like the exact same, like Fender guitar could be $1,600 in the U.S. and it's like $3,500 in Australia, and the Australian dollar isn't that much weaker, not like 3 or 4 times weaker, but the prices are that way.
So, I mean, even like digital games, right? Like if you want to buy a digital game in Australia, it's like $100.
Yeah, that's brutal. Like,
so it's not even like they have to ship it anywhere.
I know it just makes it that much more insulting. It's like, wait a minute, like it's just.
So of course there are always ways to get around it.
Yes,
Google is your friend. So
yeah. And then the last thing, Dumbass says, I have a super mega awesome TV show to recommend. He says it's on Amazon Prime, and you got to watch Sneaky Pete. He says, not optional. He says, there's 2 seasons so far, and it's incredible. He says it's got the great Bryan Cranston in it, and the main star is so good, it's insane how good he is. I don't know the main guy's name, but he rocks. It's Giovanni Ribisi, and he's one of my all-time favorite actors. I saw the first 5-6 episodes when it first came out, and I got distracted. It is a good show, and Giovanni Ribisi is just the man. He's in so much stuff I like.
Is he in what's the show that Cranston is in?
Breaking Bad?
Loves. Yeah, is he in Breaking Bad at all?
If he is, it would be like for an episode or 2, like a guest spot, but he's not a star in it. Do you not know? I
remember him from Friends. I think he was on Friends. He was Phoebe's brother.
Oh, that could be. He's been in a shitload of stuff as far as TV. Do you remember Lost in Translation with Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray?
Yeah, I never saw it, but yeah.
Oh, he was Scarlett Johansson's boyfriend in that.
So she left him for Bill Murray, huh?
You got to watch the movie.
Oh, okay. But he was in. I think he was in My Name Is Earl. He was big in that show. Yeah,
he's. I mean, he's great. He's. Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi. He's one of those guys that's got an IMDb list that you got to scroll a couple times to get down. Here's a good question for you, Mike. We'll end the show with this. Then we'll wrap it up. Brian asks, will there be another video game crash?
What? Sorry, you cut out. Will there be another video game? What?
Crash.
Oh, Crash? No.
I don't think so either. Not like the way it happened before Nintendo. Not like the Atari crash. They're too ubiquitous now. Everyone's grown up with them.
The other thing about the Atari, so there was 2 parts of that crash, right? It was the fact that there were like a saturation of arcades.
Yep.
Right? Because people had Ataris, but most people went to video games. It's just not sustainable for there to be like 3 arcades in a town of like 10,000 people, right? Or something like that. So, there was that part of it, and then, I think the Atari crash wasn't like, it wasn't just like people just stopped buying the stuff. It was just bad business decisions that they were making.
Yeah,
and everything is so micromanaged now, and like there's just so much data now. That being said, I do think there might be a video game retailer crash.
Oh, okay.
I think if GameStop completely goes out of business, that's a big thing, right? But I don't think Amazon ever will. So
you'll be able to still get video games. You just better hope you have Amazon if that happens.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they ever will in the way that there was. If you were in 1983, I don't think that you would have been predicting how popular they became just a couple years later, but also then kept growing into it. It would have really seemed like a Digimon, kind of like a 3 or 4 year fad. Or I would have thought that it would have remained in the arcades, like you're saying. I just wouldn't have, I don't think in 83 you would have predicted that games would have evolved the way they are. So I could see something like that happening again.
Right. And that being said too is this actually just came out today. You remember there's that Best Buy Club Gamer Club off online.
Yep.
Which does 20% off new video games. They just discontinued that service today.
Oh, really? I believe you were the one that had me seriously considering it, and you were the one I knew that got the most bang for your buck out of it.
Right. So if you have a subscription, like I think I have 3 accounts that have it. So 2 of my accounts expire this year, but one of them expires next summer. I think they'll let you keep it, but if you don't have it anymore, or if you can't get it anymore. So it's not just that. This is part of a phase out of them just getting rid of video games altogether. There's going to be a point where Best Buy is not going to sell video games anymore, or video game accessories.
Yeah.
Or consoles. So, and then if you walk into a GameStop, more than 50% of the store is no longer games. Like the games are just, a couple walls, and everything is like Pokemon cards, Pokemon collectibles. What are those little figures called?
Like Amiibo and stuff?
No, they're like big. They're like big fat. They have big heads.
Oh,
Pops.
Pops,
Funko
Pops,
it's like Pops and stuff. So, no. So I don't think there's going to be a video game crash, but will there be a video game retailer reduction? Maybe.
Yeah, I definitely think there will be a significant swing, but games will still be. They'll always be around. So, all right, I think that's going to be it for the show. Mike, thank you a million times over for coming on. And
it was a long show. I don't know how long we were recording.
A little over 2 hours now.
Yikes. Okay. All right.
I don't mind. You held up well.
I'm ready to go to sleep.
I bet. So, Mike, where can people go find you to listen to more of your stuff?
You can go to cartoonretrocast.com, but we're not putting it on a regular basis, so.
Yeah, but there's 187 episodes to go back.
There's 187 episodes, so if you really care about old cartoons, you can go watch some. But
especially the Darkwing Duck episode, I heard that one.
Don't expect anything new. Maybe every couple months we'll throw something up there, but it's pretty much dead at this point, Jim.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Also, shout out to Brian for the hookup on the information, the OUYA community. You heard it here first, unless you watch John Hancock's video that's coming out eventually about it. But shout out to Brian for hooking us up with that info.
Yeah.
And
smash that bell.
Smash the
that bell.
Yes. If this video gets 10,000 likes, we will play God of War on stream.
What's the other thing that they say on YouTube? Bro fist.
Do they? Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
I remember PewDiePie used to do that. But okay, that's going to be it for the show. Again, Mike, thanks a lot. If anybody would like to comment, we'll read your comments on air. You can do that under our YouTube videos. You can send us an email. That's classicl337 @gmail.com. That classic L337 is also our username on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that stuff. And if you'd like to support the show, again, we have Amazon links in the description. So if you do already shop at Amazon, it'd be awesome if you would go there through our links occasionally. Because since we are demonetized now on YouTube, this will help keep the cost down out of our pocket.
Yep. Make sure you go to the Classic Lead Patreon page. That's patreon.com/classicl337.
Maybe someday.
Make sure you go to their StubHub page, stubhub.com, classicl337. And what's the other one? SoundCloud. Make sure you check out their SoundCloud page.
Yes. Yeah, you know what's up.
SoundCloud.com/
Also, if you like the audio versions, we're on all the podcast services. You can get the entire backlog at our website, classicelite.com. And that's going to be it for the show. So, again, Mike, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much for listening to episode 273 of the Classic Elite Podcast. And we'll see you next week for episode 274.
Thanks for having me. Peace out.
Boosh. Awesome. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Oh, yeah, I need to see the Avengers movie so I can get that meme. But yeah, shout out to... there's Ken.
Did you read comics when you were a kid?
No. I collected them for a year. Oh, Sir Cattingsworth. Good to see you. I did not notice you there. Apologize about that.
Yeah. So I read the Infinity Gauntlet saga.
Oh, okay. So you
when I was like 11, and I still have it. So I have the issues, and I read it again. I've been passing them around work to some of the younger people at work, and I haven't seen the movie, but I know what the meme is. I know. What
I'm gonna shut this stream down. Night, guys.